morning, everybody. Colette here. I'm on my way to work right now, and I wanted to shoot a video kind of explaining my story, my life history, I guess. Because to know where I am today and what I can do, really, you got to kind of have the backstory and understand that. When I was in grade school, the school I attended had a wood shop program, and I desperately wanted to be in that wood shop program, mainly because I wanted to learn how to build guitars. That had been a lifelong dream of mine, to learn how to build my own guitar. But this was the 1980s, and in that time, girls weren't allowed in the wood shop program. The wood shop program was for the boys only, and girls had to take home economics. So instead of taking wood shop, I took home economics and learned how to cook and how to sew, which, although they're important things to know, me and my brothers actually had a mom that had already taught us those things. So I already knew basics of cooking, how to sew on a button and make small repairs on clothing and stuff. I really wanted to be in that wood shop program, but they didn't allow girls. So I didn't know it at the time, but looking back now on that moment and that experience of being denied an education based solely on my gender, that experience really shaped the rest of my life. Could not have known it at the time, but looking back now with the experience that I have, I can definitely pinpoint that moment of being excluded from an education based on my gender would shape my job decisions for the rest of my life. I graduated high school in 1987, and by the beginning of 1990, I was driving triaxle dump trucks for a paving company here in North Alabama. When I left that job, I ended up teaming with my brother, driving 18-wheelers back and forth across the United States. We would pick up either chicken from the southern states and carry that out west, or maybe pick up beauty products in the Midwest and take that out west, and then pick up trailers full of produce from California, where they grow most of the produce that's shipped across the states, or maybe like big bags of onions from Washington, and we would bring those back east. Did that for a while. It was also during this time when I quit that job and came back to North Alabama. I started driving locally for a scrap hauling company, where we would go to the crusher and scrap yards and stuff, and I'd pick up crushed cars, strap those into the dump trailer that I was driving, and take that back to the yard for processing, where we'd drop the cars off, and then a big claw would put those into a machine, and that would the machine would crush up those cars, and then we would take those the crushed up metal back down to the steel mills in Birmingham and other locations, but mainly Birmingham, to be remelted into steel coils and steel bars and things like that. It was also during this time when I was driving at home that I finished out enough time and enough education to get my private pilot's license. Got this in 1995. Haven't used this really since September 11th, the events of September 11th, 2001. That whole thing kind of unnerved me, and I really haven't been flying since then. But I wouldn't mind going back and getting my biennial flight review and my physical and getting that. But anyways, after September 11th, I really just didn't use my license for anything. Then I taught myself how to play guitar. This was back in the mid-90s. Taught myself how to play guitar, and I played solo and played in a duo and played in numerous bands here in North Alabama. Also played drums at one time for a band called the Texicans. It was a couple guys from out of El Paso, Texas. But I never was really great at that, so I kind of gave that up. But after that, I got a job in a factory, and where I was actually running transfer presses. We made cans. We made aerosol cans, like the 134A refrigerant cans that you would recharge your air conditioning system in a vehicle with, or like the little compressed air cans that you blow your keyboards out with. We made those for all the different companies across America. So did that for about 10 years, operated transfer presses and also worked on the presses. So you can see my job, the jobs that I took on were not typical for women, especially in the 80s and the 90s. And I think all of that was a direct result of having the experience of being denied an education based solely on my gender. Because what that told me is that somehow growing up as a girl in America, that I was not enough, that I was not worthy of the dreams that I had, that I wanted to follow. And that if I thought I was worthy, well, the rest of American society would deem me unworthy and just not enough to do what I wanted to do with my life. And like I said, I really think that experience of being denied that education really pushed me in every job opportunity that I had. I took on jobs that were not typical for women, and because as a woman I felt already that I was unworthy, I had, in every single job, I had to prove myself. I had to work harder than the guys, learn better and faster than the guys, take on more work than the guys did, just to prove that as a girl in America that I was worthy and that I can do basically every job that a guy can do. After the transfer press job, I learned leatherworking, and I actually started in leatherworking because of a YouTube video. I was almost 8 or 9 years into the factory job, and I was really starting to feel a lot of anxiety, I guess, depression around the fact that I had stopped being creative in my life. I had basically sold out myself to make money, meaning that instead of pursuing the creativity that I had as a child and as a young adult, whether it was drawing or playing in a band, etc., I had kind of abandoned the creative girl that I was in trying to prove to everybody else that I could do what guys could do, And I don't think it was conscious decisions. I think subconsciously I was trying to prove this, but it wasn't like I went, well, I'm going to take this job just to prove that I can do it. It was jobs that I was interested in doing. They were unusual, yes, for women, especially at that time. But I think most of those decisions were totally subconscious, that somehow, because I felt like I wasn't enough, that I needed to do these jobs that were atypical for women. I am a big proponent. I totally believe in the philosophy that if you know how to do something, you should show other people how to do that. And that's how I got into leatherworking. It was actually an online video that was posted on YouTube by a woman named Andrea Masse Tognetti. Any of you who shop on Etsy would know her as Mary Mask. She does amazingly phenomenal leather masks of dragons, and just, you have to check her out. Look her up online. It's Etsy, Mary Mask. She had posted a video, a simple tutorial video on how to do leather masks, and I was so intrigued that I went to Tandy Leather, walked in the door, and told the manager, hey, I have no idea what I'm doing, but here's what I want to try. Can you help me out? And they were really helpful. I went to the one down here in Hoover, Alabama, and got into leatherworking because she had posted a how-to video on YouTube. So I totally subscribe to the philosophy that if you know how to do something, that you should show others who are interested in how to do that too, because you honestly don't know how that's going to affect other people in their lives and what they are going to then create because of that. And I am eternally grateful that she put that video on YouTube, and that's why I do what I do now. That's why I put videos on YouTube, because I want the next person who's interested in doing what I do or learning how to do something for themselves to see a video and not be denied an education because based on their gender or whatever else. That's the great thing about YouTube, is that if you want to learn how to do something, you can literally look it up and teach yourself through those videos, and not be denied an education because of that. Anyways, so after the leather working, I actually quit my job, my factory job, in July of 2014, and I took my 401k, and it was enough actually to pay off my house. So I was very fortunate at that. Paid a lot in taxes, paid a lot of penalties because I did that, but by paying off my house, it has afforded me the freedom to build this camper van and to travel and to do things that I never thought I would be able to do, trapped in a job where I was working 6 and 7 days a week for years on end. So I started building this camper van immediately after I had quit that job, and I'll tell you more about that later on in another video. Most of the stuff that I want to do a video and tell you, how much it cost basically for me to build this camper van, and how I did it kind of on a shoestring, because most of what's in here was salvaged out of other campers or out of houses, and I'll shoot a video and tell you all about that too later. But finally, in January of this year, 2015, I finally got to realize my lifelong dream of learning how to build guitars. I had enrolled myself in a 6-week guitar building course in Atlanta through Atlanta Guitar Works, and finally realized the dream of building my own guitars that I had wanted to do since I was a kid and had been denied because I was a girl. And I am so grateful that they have that program there, and I know I got emotional with them about it, because I think that, the guys, there were 2 instructors there, Brian and Gary, and they're really great guys, really, really helpful. They want to help you learn. But I think that, after you do a job for so long, it's just kind of like a job. And, for them, it was kind of a job in a way. But for me, it was the culmination of a lifelong of trying to prove to myself and to other people that yes, I can, and that yes, I am worthy, and yes, I am enough. I can do it. And so for me, it was a very emotional 6 weeks. Not like I was crying all the time or anything, but it was like this is what all those jobs were about. This is what me proving myself time and time again really was all about. Learning to build guitars. I would love to eventually be able to buy the equipment that I need and to teach others how to do this. But one thing I want to do with my YouTube channel is that while I was at the guitar building school, I filmed everything. I mean, literally, I took my GoPro cameras and I filmed pretty much the whole guitar making process from beginning to end. First of all, because I wanted to be sure that I remembered how to do this later and could duplicate it when I got on my own, but also because I want to show other people how to do this too. I don't want anybody to feel like they have to be denied an education based on their gender or based on their socioeconomic class or whatever other factors you might have. And YouTube is a great equalizer in that respect, that you can go on YouTube and you can look up anything you're interested in, and guaranteed somebody has put up a video on how to do that. And that's what I absolutely love about shooting videos and putting them up on YouTube, is that we're passing that knowledge on to people who are seeking that knowledge. And I think that's so very important. So I just wanted to basically tell you my story, and because I think it explains a lot on why I built the camper van and my struggle throughout my entire life to prove that I'm worthy, and that just being a girl in America doesn't mean that you're less than, or doesn't mean that you can't do things that other people can do, because you totally can. And I think it's important to realize that so many times we either talk ourselves out of our creativity or let others do it for us. Let other people tell us that, oh, you shouldn't really do art, and you really shouldn't do music because you'll never make a living at it. When the truth of the matter is, the money that you earn is not everything. It really isn't. And during the years when I was not being creative, and that I had sold my soul just for the money so I could pay off my house and buy a vehicle and all these other things that society tells us we're supposed to do, those were like the most miserable times, the most miserable years in my life, doing what other people told me I had to do, and totally abandoning that creative girl that I was growing up, and that I am still. I had completely abandoned who I was to do what I thought other people thought I should do. And now, I'm working a couple part-time jobs. I don't have the money that I had when I was working a factory job. I'm not bringing in, tons of money each week. But the truth is, not all money is good money. It really isn't. And, if you're trapped in a job that makes you feel like you're trapped, then I don't care how much money you're making. It's just not worth it. Not all money is good money. And if you're not doing what you love, and you're feeling like you're trapped into something, that is the most miserable experience, I swear, you could ever have, is feeling like you have no option but to do what other people expect of you. And I would say this for any of you out there who are interested in learning something new. Get on YouTube, look it up, find the tutorials for whatever it is you're interested in doing, and teach yourself through those videos how to do what it is that you're passionate about, and take that on. Do that. So anyways, thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you on the road.